Welcome to the debate. In the intricate universe of the sword come, it typically takes ancient, epoch-defining beings thousands of years to reach the 14th cultivation realm.
Yeah, and that's assuming they survive the heavenly tribulations or, don't succumb to their own heart demons first.
Exactly. Yet Ning Yao achieves this at the age of 44. So today we're not just comparing power levels or asking who hits harder.
Right. We are analyzing a profound philosophical clash. It's really about two fundamentally opposed paths to ultimate martial supremacy.
Right, you have flawless, heaven-defying innate talent versus relentless, agonizingly accumulated mastery.
Right out of the gate, you have this staggering contrast. You have someone born at the absolute apex of potential, and then you have Chen Ping'an.
A kid who starts as a literal mud alley orphan with shattered spiritual roots. The question we are exploring today is which of these two trajectories represents the true pinnacle of power?
And it's a massive question.
It is, and I'll lay my perspective out clearly. True supremacy is achieved through the composite accumulation of dual-path cultivation and an unbreakable will. That makes Chen Ping'an the ultimate powerhouse.
Well, and I approach this from the exact opposite angle. I mean, absolute supremacy belongs to the unparalleled purity and instinctual genius of the sword Dao, making Ning Yao the undisputed peak of martial combat.
So let's start by looking mechanically at what it means to begin with a broken foundation. Because I argue that starting from an absolute deficit is the ultimate forge for enduring strength.
Okay, sure. In this universe, pedigree is everything.
Right. Spiritual energy flows through specific meridians, and Chen Ping'an's meridians are effectively shattered. He is entirely locked out of the spiritual lottery.
So how does he compete then?
Well, he circumvents it through physical deconstruction. He relies entirely on grit.
By walking the martial path.
Exactly. But we have to look at how he walks it. Consider the 1 million punch regimen and the fist feeding under the peak martial god Kuai Chang.
Right, where Kuai Chang suppressed his own realm to the third tier and systematically broke Chen Ping'an's bones in the snow.
Yeah, but why is that specific suppression important? Kuai Chang wasn't just brutally beating him. He was using highly calibrated martial force at a mortal level to force Chen's body to literally rewrite its own kinetic pathways.
Sounds agonizing.
Oh, it is. When Chen Ping'an takes 31 earth-shattering punches, bleeds out in the snow, and roars for more, he is crystallizing his fist intent that does not retreat.
Okay, but...
Wait, just let me finish the mechanical secret here. The physical agony bridges the gap to a spiritual foundation. He basically builds a supercomputer out of scrap iron.
I mean, you're treating his physical suffering as the root cause of his power, but I'd argue it's just a desperate workaround for his lack of a pure sword heart.
But he achieves dual-path supremacy because of it. He reaches the 11th martial realm while simultaneously maintaining top-tier sword cultivation.
If we want to talk mechanics, we have to define what a pure sword heart actually does. Think of normal cultivation as navigating a massive, invisible, multidimensional maze to find the center of the Tao.
And those bottlenecks in the maze are usually where cultivators stagnate or die, right?
Precisely. But a pure sword heart doesn't solve the maze. It simply walks through the walls in a straight line.
Sure, it's a shortcut.
Not just a shortcut. That is how Ning Yao reaches the 14th realm in 4 decades. Her mind doesn't process spiritual static, like when she learns the 18 halts of sword ki.
Which is an unbelievably complex technique.
Right, an ancient technique that takes masters centuries to even comprehend. She masters it instantly. Her cultivation is like a laser beam. All photons are perfectly aligned.
It's impressive, I'll give you that.
There is zero energy waste, so every ounce of her existence translates directly into absolute, pure cutting power. So I have to challenge your premise. Why build a messy, agonizing supercomputer when you are born as a perfectly calibrated laser?
Illustrates my concern, actually. A laser is narrow. It focuses all its energy on a single point.
A very lethal point.
But if the target can absorb the heat or deflect it, what's left? You are praising her pure lethality, but pure lethality has glaring blind spots.
I wouldn't really call a strike that can sever the Tao itself a blind spot.
Let's contextualize it. Look at their first meeting in Liju Cave Heaven. Yes, Chen Ping'an's survival relied on either her mercy or his ability to run.
Because she is overwhelmingly dominant in a quick clash.
In a quick clash, sure. But true martial supremacy is measured at the apex, not the starting line. Ning Yao is absolute lethality, but Chen Ping'an is a comprehensively balanced ecosystem.
An ecosystem?
Yes, he has an unbreakable body, he cultivates multiple life-saving trump cards, and he has an endurance that can process near infinite kinetic damage. If her strike fails to one-shot him, he drowns her in versatility.
Okay, I'll concede that if Chen Ping'an has the time to set up his arrays, deploy his talismans, and leverage the full weight of his dual paths, he becomes an overwhelming logistical problem.
Exactly.
But you are ignoring the fundamental nature of Ning Yao's sword. It preempts the setup. She doesn't just cut physical flesh. A 14th realm pure sword immortal severs the connections between things.
You mean severing his spiritual intent from his physical body?
Exactly. If she severs the connection between his martial foundation and his cultivator path in a single absolute strike, his versatility collapses.
That's a big if.
You don't get a chance to endure if your connection to the physical world is cut. Chen Ping'an divides his focus to build that supercomputer. In doing so, he sacrifices the absolute singularity that allows Ning Yao to end the fight before endurance even matters.
Well, that assumes her own intent remains perfectly stable to deliver that strike. And this brings us to the profound psychological vulnerability of pure talent.
Vulnerability? I don't see it.
Pure lethality requires a pristine state of mind. A laser needs perfectly aligned mirrors. If we look at the crucible of trauma, we have to analyze the 13s contest.
Ah, the Yaozu's assassination plot.
Yes, the Demon Clan orchestrated a massive trap, but it wasn't to physically kill her. They rigged a 13 versus 13 duel solely to force a 10-year-old Ning Yao to watch her parents fight and die in front of her.
It was horrific.
But why did they do it? Because they understood the mechanics of a flawless Dao heart. A flawless diamond can't be scratched, but if you hit it with the exact right acoustic frequency, it shatters completely.
I see where you're going with this.
They targeted her psychology, because pure talent is inherently fragile when exposed to complex, messy human trauma.
Wow. Okay. I look at the exact same event and draw the completely opposite mechanical conclusion.
Really? How so?
You are saying the Yaozu targeted her because her talent was fragile. I argue they resorted to this elaborate psychological warfare because they were terrified of her baseline resiliency.
But they knew it would hurt her.
They couldn't physically assassinate her because of Chen Tuo's protection, so they deployed the most extreme mental attack possible.
But it deeply traumatized her. We can't ignore that the attack landed.
Yes, when you actually pause and think about a 10-year-old child watching her parents be slaughtered, the psychological weight is staggering. Any normal cultivator's mind would snap.
Exactly my point.
But let's trace the mechanics of her response. If her sword heart were truly a fragile glass cannon, that trauma would have introduced massive spiritual impurities. It would have created inner demons that form insurmountable bottlenecks at the upper realms.
Which happens to a lot of characters.
Right. Instead, what happens mechanically? She absorbs the trauma and weaponizes it. She forges the grief into an even sharper blade. Empirical proof that her innate talent is a force of nature, completely immune to permanent corruption. That isn't fragility, that is terrifying innate resilience.
I don't disagree that she weaponized it, but she weaponized it into a single hyper-specialized channel, vengeance and swordcraft. It narrowed her worldview.
Is narrowing your worldview bad in a fight to the death?
Compare that to how Chen Ping'an processes trauma. His teacher, Chen, deliberately engineered brutal, constant adversity. He was raised in a crucible of betrayal and loss.
He definitely had it rough.
But Chen Ping'an's Dao heart is built from shattered pieces. When Chen put him through that, he was essentially teaching Chen Ping'an how to operate a broken machine.
So he's just used to being broken.
Exactly. So when Chen encounters a bottleneck or a heart demon, he doesn't shatter because he's already broken. He just reassembles the pieces into a stronger configuration.
Okay, modularity is impressive.
A flawless Dao heart is terrified of cracking. A shattered Dao heart is modular. It expands outward, allowing him to shoulder the weight of the world.
But it doesn't change the fact that in a pure confrontation, a specialized blade is built for one purpose, and that is to kill. Modularity is great for survival, but lethality ends the conflict.
Which leads us perfectly to their peak states at the endgame of the narrative. This is where the difference between pure combat and ultimate supremacy really comes into sharp relief.
Okay, let's talk endgame.
By the end of the story, Chen Ping'an touches the 15th realm. He takes on the mantle of the old heavenly courtmaster. Mechanically, touching the 15th realm means stepping outside the rules of the universe and writing them.
He becomes a cosmic administrator.
He becomes the architect. Ning Yao might be the sharpest sword ever forged within the universe, but Chen Ping'an becomes the very hand that wields the universe itself.
That's a poetic way to put it.
How can innate sword talent, no matter how pure, cut the concept of the hand holding it? His dual path accumulation wasn't just about winning duels. It was about building the capacity to hold reality together. That is true martial supremacy.
Well, I gracefully acknowledge Chen Ping'an's endgame status. The image of the hand holding the universe is striking, but as analysts of this lore, we have to be intellectually honest about the nature of that 15th realm power.
What do you mean?
We have to look at how he assembled that power. Chen Ping'an's ascension relies heavily on what the lore calls Jian, fortunate opportunities.
Sure, luck plays a part.
It relies on his alliances, his brilliantly strategic mind, and his narrative destiny as the central variable of the era. He is given the keys to the system.
Are you implying that relying on Jian and alliances diminishes his power? Because I'd argue that recognizing and seizing those opportunities requires as much mastery as swinging a sword.
It doesn't diminish his power, but it categorizes it differently. It is systemic power. It is environmental dominance.
Which is still dominance.
I'll concede that if we drop them into the middle of a massive battlefield with armies, shifting terrain, and cosmic politics, Chen Ping'an's systemic power wins out. He simply outmaneuvers her.
Exactly, he uses the whole board.
But the Tao isn't always a complex ecosystem. Sometimes it is just two people. If we strip away the cosmic administrative duties and put them in a featureless white room for a pure death battle, Ning Yao is still the queen.
A featureless white room.
Yes, pure combat. Even the narrative implies that if Chen Ping'an were to fight her at their absolute peaks, it would be an extreme difficulty fight. He would only survive by relying on his stacked advantages. In pure martial combat, her genius is a ceiling he can't replicate.
I appreciate the concession about the battlefield, but the idea of a featureless white room fundamentally misunderstands his path.
How so?
The Tao is an ecosystem. You can't strip away Chen Ping'an's environmental advantages because his ability to accumulate those factors is his power.
I see.
His Tao is the Tao of drawing the world into himself. He started with nothing and built a foundation so wide it encompassed everything. To say, if you take away everything he accumulated, he loses, is a logical fallacy.
Well, I maintain that Ning Yao's transparent sword heart proves a fundamental truth of the universe, that complexity is often just a crutch for those who lack absolute purity.
A crutch? That's a bit harsh.
Think about it. She didn't need millions of punches to understand the Tao. She felt it the moment she held a sword. In a universe governed by martial laws, that pure lethality remains the absolute ceiling of combat.
It is a remarkable tension, and I think we've mapped out exactly why this debate is so enduring within the fandom. But what is truly brilliant about the source material is that it doesn't force these philosophies to exist in a vacuum.
Right. It binds them together through the underlying philosophy of yin and yang. They aren't just ideological competitors, they are two halves of a whole.
Exactly. The narrative actively resists tearing one down to elevate the other. Ning Yao is the unattainable genius. For most of his early life, she is the shining star that pushes Chen Ping'an forward.
Yeah, she is the standard of excellence that forces him out into the blizzard to throw that millionth punch. Without her acting as a beacon, his accumulation might have lacked direction.
And inversely, Chen Ping'an is the steady rock that grounds her. He provides a tether to humanity.
So true.
Without his vast, accumulated foundation providing a home for her heart, her pure sword Tao might have completely isolated her, turning her into a weapon with no human warmth.
Which makes the upcoming Sword Chi Great Wall arc so fascinating.
We're about to see this exact philosophical debate play out on a massive societal scale.
Oh, absolutely.
We will be exploring Ningyao's homeland, which is a place defined entirely by pure, unyielding swordcraft and constant warfare. It will be the ultimate testing grounds for his philosophy of modular accumulation.
It is going to be incredible to watch those two mechanical philosophies collide and cooperate on the front lines.
Definitely.
The lore has given us a masterful exploration of what it means to truly be strong. Whether you believe ultimate power is found in the flawless, innate diamond of Ningyao's sword heart, or forged in the agonizing resilience of Chen Ping'an's dual path, one thing is clear. The journey to the peak of the martial world is never simple.
Well said.
We'll leave it to you, the listener, to decide which path represents the true pinnacle of the Tao. Until next time, keep questioning the mechanics of the world around you, and remember, sometimes the most unbreakable strength comes from the things that have already been shattered.